Well, the coronavirus pandemic has changed how South Africans spend their holidays this year. Our reporters are exploring the country, experiencing what SA tourism has to offer. Dasen Thathiah is in East London, Nqobile Madladla is in King Williamstown, and Justin Ford is in Port Alfred. They all join me now. So, Dasen, we'll start with you, and with great envy, I ask, how's your trip been going so far?
It's been great, Shahan. You know, we've managed to get through Port St. John's. We were in Coffee Bay this morning. We saw the hole in the wall, and we had the pleasure of seeing some of the other sites before we had to rush off. And the fact that I'm actually not in East London yet tells you that I overstayed my welcome in Coffee Bay, and understandably so, because we were treated with such great hospitality in that area as well. But as much as that may be the case, and there are lots of sights to see, and we met a lot of friendly people, we were at the Ocean View Hotel, which has an incredible view that I woke up to this morning. There's also the other issue of those facilities not getting all of the bookings that they should be getting during this time. Small businesses as well, those that are running the adventure type activities, kayaking and hikes and all of that. They say that there have been a lot of cancellations as a result of the President's address. So it seems like there may have been some kind of misunderstanding, Shahan, between the beaches being closed and, you know, all activities being cancelled. So the majority of those that are operating in that area have experienced cancellations. But I had an opportunity to speak to Russell Kruger. He's the owner of the Ocean View Hotel, but he's also part of the Wild Coast Holiday Association as well. Let's listen into what he had to say.
Devastating. We have seen, obviously, since the President's announcement day before yesterday, a drastic drop in guests coming down. What has happened is a survey went out, and of the people interviewed, 87% have lost 50% of their business, either been booked forward or cancelled totally. So, you know, the effects are devastating. At this time of the year, normally you have many little groups of people that are getting employed through the tourism here. Guys come down there, get guided hikes down to the bottom. You can see people jump off the little rocks down at the hole itself. We've had a bit of rain, so under normal circumstances, this little estuary here is beautiful. It's better than Mauritius, can I say that? And what's concerning us now is the impact of the decision that has been made not to allow people to go on the beaches.
So, Dasen, of course, you're going through smaller towns. Are they following COVID-19 protocols?
Well, this is the worrying part, Shahan. So we're talking about COVID-19 and those protocols. On the one side, you have all of these facilities which are now not getting the bookings that they normally do during the festive season, but yet they're following these things to the letter. Even when you get there, you find that you have to go through all of these very necessary processes. But for example, here we're in Nqobile, one of the small towns on the way to Butterworth. We've just pulled off here on the side of the road now. This is actually an example of what you're asking about. I mean, just across the road from me, you'll be able to see that there is no sign of social distancing there. In fact, when we were making our way to Coffee Bay, there was also a similar problem. We were driving there quite late last night at about 10 o'clock. And my colleague Nkaniso and I were just discussing why were there so many young people on the roads at that time while we were driving past those homesteads. And as we got further along the road, we saw that there was an event being held. So there was a party of some kind. I mean, from what we could see in the dark, there were probably over 500 people there. The scary thing is that there were no masks in sight. People were hugging, people were holding each other. And I think this is part of the problem, that I guess what the authorities can't see is exactly where this virus seems to spread, or where there's a chance of it spreading at least.
All right, we're going to leave it there for Dasen Thathiah, and let's go to Nqobile Madladla. So you, of course, at the Biko Center Museum. What are you seeing there or observing in terms of people visiting?
Well, Shahan, it's a bit quiet, but perhaps that is the major problem that they are faced with at this point, because the less traffic coming in, that means the less work for everybody else. But joining me now is Asanda, who knows this place like herself, and I just wanted to tell us this beautiful story. She was telling me how she has been working here for such a long time. Yes. What have you been telling people?
When people come here, I tell them that this is a place where one can dream and dream big. and also be supported to realize their dream through various things that one can do through education and through experience. So for me, it has been a marvelous time that I have spent here at the Steve Biko Center Museum.
Tell me a bit about the center. What does it talk about? We know it talks about Steve Biko, but where does it come from?
Look, this museum and the entire center was built in 2010, and it was officially opened in 2012. With this space, we are preserving the history of Steve Biko, but not only Steve Biko, but of course other pathfinders, people that were before Steve Biko. I mean, people that really influenced Steve Biko's political life. Of course, we have his friends like your Donald Woods and your Rampela, of course, here. So also we are trying to provide an opportunity to young people to learn about the history of Steve Biko. Of course, we know that the Department of Education have incorporated Steve Biko's history, but we think that Department of Education working with the Steve Biko, we can do a lot in terms of educating young people especially, because it's for them now to make change of what is happening in our country.
Thank you very much there, Asanda. Well, Shahan, it's a lot of memories, as you can see behind me. It seems people come here to learn a little bit more than what they've always been told or what they have seen in the books. So I will continue learning here with Asanda.
All right, let's go to Justin Ford. Always a picture-perfect background with you, isn't it, Justin? You're in Port Alfred. What are the alternatives to beaches there?
Absolutely, Shahan. It's all about location, location, location. And we found ourselves at a company called Focus. And they're saying to us, close our beaches. We've got more than just beaches. And somebody who joins me is Carrie Webster, who owns Outdoor Focus. Carrie, we've spoken off air before this conversation. Following the President's address, sort of what was the reaction like? We can talk about the activities on our next question, but what was the reaction about or like following the President's address the other night?
The reaction was everyone was knee-jerk, and everyone was like, oh, cancel. But then the day after, everyone was like, actually, there's lots to do. So, yeah, it's not all bad. There's lots to do, even with our beaches closed.
Fantastic. I mean, we look at the scenery right now. We just see lakes and waters, rivers. I mean, is that then sort of the fallback in terms of no beaches? What is on offer here in Port Alfred?
Yeah, that's a fallback. So we've got beautiful rivers and loads of activities to do on the river. Kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, skiing with boats. Everyone, all day, every day is on their boat, which is great. Yeah.
The number of people that have come through during this period, the festive period, is there a decline? Has there been an increase? What is the sense in this community at the moment?
Man, there was, as I said, knee-jerk. People did cancel, but I think people have realised actually it's okay. So those that did cancel have lost out, because there's so much to do.
Well, that's the word to basically use. So much to do, Shahan. So as much as you enjoy some time, with your feet in between the sand, Shahan, come down to Port Alfred. We'll put you on a paddle board, and you get to enjoy the waters and the scenes, the sights and the scenes out in Port Alfred.
All right, I'll take you up on that offer. I'm going to leave from the 29th. Justin Ford, Nqobile Madladla, and Dasen Thathiah.